Hey, what's going on, everybody? You know what I'm about to ask? How y'all feeling? How's your mental state right now? If you had to rate yourself between 1 and 10, what would you be? Would you be a 10, sitting on top of the world, everything is going right? Would you be a 5, about average? It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. Or are you lower than 5, where a lot of stuff could be improved in your life, but you just don't know how to do it? Well, as for me, y'all know me. I vary between a 6 and an 8 all the time. I stay right there. So what number are you? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. I'm interested to know. I care about you, and I'm gonna check on you. Just let me know. I mean, if you just want somebody to talk to, a message back and forth, I got you. So let me know how you're doing. Let me know how life's treating you. Put it down in the comments below. I'll talk to y'all soon. So with everything going on in the world today, it's so much news, so many people hurting and suffering until it has to take a toll on you. I mean, you look out and more people are getting sick with disease and fevers and COVID every single day. You got old people, young people, parents, students, adults, everybody is getting this thing. And the hospitals are full beyond capacity. The people that work in the hospital, they're getting PTSD. They can't take what's going on because they see these people dying every day, to see families in pain. You can't watch that stuff and not be affected by it. There's a so-called gender war with men versus women, feminists and masculinists. And I mean, both of them have points, but both of them are wrong. So that stuff can get to you. I tell you, it got to me one time. Long ago, when politics was going on heavy, not to say it's not going on heavy now, because it is. I had friends who would post things and say things that I didn't quite agree with. And I thought that they didn't see it from the viewpoint of a minority or from someone else. So I went looking every day I went looking for a war to fight. And you know what happens when you do that? If you're looking for a fight, you're gonna find it. And you can't get mad because you're tired of fighting, because you go looking for it every day. And that's what I did. And I would go and look for these fights and I would wait for them. But you know what was happening while I was looking for these fights? I was missing out on life. That's what took all of my thoughts and my feelings went toward that. And I was missing out on everything. It was ruining what was going to be a good day for me. So one day I decided to stop. I just stopped. And I knew people was going to do what they was going to do. They was going to believe what they was going to believe. But everyone has to answer to God for their own actions. They have to answer for their own beliefs. They have to answer for everything that they do. That's not my responsibility to handle. So a word of advice right now, if you are a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1, let's see if we can get you back on track. One thing you can do, one, is stop trying to fight so much. Because even the hardest warrior can get battle fatigue. They can get PTSD. It's at one point, fighting hurts you. The more you fight, the more you hurt yourself. Sometimes you gotta stop. Now here's another tip. If you're having a bad day and things look like they can't be crossed, things look like it's an insurmountable task, then let's try to change our mental focus. It's a saying that there's power in the tongue, there's power in words. That is true. Although the words themselves don't have that kind of power, because we don't cast spells and create from nothing. But the words do have power on this. The more you say a thing, it starts to influence how you think and how you perceive your reality. So let's do a little exercise. I guarantee right now, I can make you feel happy. do this along with me. And I'm going to ask this one question, and it's going to put a smile on your face when you actually think about it. What would you do if you had $10 billion? Now, some of us are sitting here thinking like, you know what, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pay all my bills. And then I'm going to pay all my mom and daddy bills. And then I'm going to take care of all my friends. And then you still, after that, you're going to buy cars and houses for everybody, make sure that your family's straight. That's the first thing y'all going to do. And then after that, it turns to be benevolent offerings. You know, I'm going to start this program to help people. I'm going to find homeless people on the street, and I'm going to get them out of poverty because I got $10 billion. But if you stop and think about those things, it automatically lifts you up because you're focusing on something positive. You focus on something good, and that's what gets you out of what you're in. That raises your number. It may be temporary, but it's up. So you can be a 4 and it's going to take you to a 6. See what I'm saying? So let's try to incorporate some positive thoughts, do some daydreaming, some things like that, things that make you happy, and try to envision that in your mind. Use those words to influence yourself so you can get up and you can stop walking with your head down, and you can put your shoulders back instead of being slumped over and dragging your feet. Now you're back to being a human again. Another way to raise your number is to focus on what is true. You know, we often are attacked by people, but I always say that we love the person, but we hate what they do. So you have to know that people are influenced by evil thoughts and evil deeds, and a lot of times those evil thoughts and deeds spill out on you. But what we have to realize is that there's still people, because sometimes we get influenced that way. I told you what I did. I was influenced that way. But so we have to realize that that's not the true person. It's just something that they're going through. And when you show empathy for other people, that's the thing that brings you right on up where you're supposed to be. So just remember that it's not the person, but it's sometimes their influences, their thoughts and ideals that influence how they act. And they can be forgiven and they can change. The third way that you can raise up that number and you can get out of that slump is to focus on things that are honest, focus on things that are real. Focus on things that are beautiful. You know, I thought I had seen it all. I had been on the earth for many decades and I saw a lot of things. And I thought nothing could sway me, nothing could surprise me. But I tell you, I was proven wrong. And even when I think back to what I saw and experienced, it makes me smile to this day. So what we did is we took a trip out to California and we went up the side of this mountain, 17, 18 miles to a place called the Giant Forest where the sequoia trees were. And you always saw pictures of these trees and you've heard of them, but it doesn't connect. You won't get it until you actually see it. And I got to go and touch one with my bare hand. This is a thing that grew to be enormous. It's a thing that God made that just, I'm speechless when I try to talk about it. So I think back on those things. You might be a person who likes sunsets at the beach. You can go back on that. I can remember one time, you know, my wife and I, when we were dating, we like to go out to the beach during the full moon because during that time you could see the light of the moon reflecting off of the water with the waves, and it's something that cannot be duplicated. That's a beautiful sight. So try to remember some of those things that you saw. Think about your children. You know how much you love your kids. You know how smart they are, the things that they do to amaze you. Think about that. You have blessings in front of you that you don't even use. So look to those things that you love. Look to those things that you can marvel at. Look to those things that make a difference in the world. All right, Here's another thing. One thing that I like to do is to focus on a testimony. So if you are going through right now, if you're sick, you may be laid off, you may not know what's coming next. Everything is unpredictable. But one thing you can do is remind yourself that what you're living is a testimony. The wise thing to do is to focus on the end. Do this with me. If you are going through something, or even if you're not, I want you to do this exercise with me. Go ahead and close your eyes. And you can pick something that's happening right now. And I want you to think about what's going to happen at the end. When you get to tell someone, I was down, but I wasn't out. I was down and I thought I wasn't going to make it. But I made it because I'm here telling you this. It was hard. It was impossible. But the impossible was made possible. Think about this. Your life is your testimony. And I want you to, if you're going through something, think about that. Let's incorporate that into your daily meditation, those things that you think about. You can think back and remember how hard it was. You know how difficult everything was for you. You knew where you came from. And you're still going there. Life is a journey, y'all. And the road is not always paved nicely. You know, I'll tell you this, on our cross-country trip, we were driving and the roads in Florida was okay. It was pretty good. But I tell y'all what, when we got to Alabama, they had potholes, the road was all repaired, and you had them little ripples in the road, and everything was happening. But then we got through that and went to the next state where the roads were better. That is the same thing that's happening with your life. Sometimes you go through a state where things are a little bit rough. But guess what? You still got a road to drive on. You still got a trip to go to. You still got a long way to go until you get to the end. And I want y'all to look forward to what's happening. Look forward to where you're going. And think about that testimony that you're going to have where you can tell people how tough it was and how you made it through. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this thing up. So let's think about this. If your number is low, I just gave you 3 or 4 tips that can help you feel better, help you raise that number up. Because the better you feel inside, the better that you can live your life, the better you can help other people. We are not meant to live in that saddened state. We are not meant to be crawling on our knees and walking with our heads bowed low every day. We have an unnecessary burden that we're carrying on our backs, and it's time to put it down. Let's put it down. Use some of those tips. Think of something that's beautiful. Think about your testimony. And most of all, think about the people that love you and you love them. Think about them. And if you think nobody loves you, there's somebody out there that cares enough that you're a human being. And there's somebody up there that cares enough to tell you you're worth it. So I'll say to all the guys, you're a good man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard. They appreciate it. And to the ladies, you're valuable. You hold value to somebody. Most of all, you should hold value to yourself. So anyway, y'all, I'm about to be out of here. So anyway, I love you and God love you. Man, all y'all have a blessed day.